It's time.
All right. Well, hey, we're live. This can be a little different. Well, not for anybody live, but there is some switching up of how our podcast will be launched. So marketing team this week was like, hey, instead of doing giant long episodes, we're just going to cut your segments up and release them as segments.
Mm-hmm.
We were like, then they were like, is that okay? We're like, yeah. Like,
I mean, that's how everybody watches.
that's how it works, right?
All right.
And then they can pick exactly what they want to watch. So today, going to have, well, apparently I have a couple of shitty shots. So recap, little post-draft action. Falcons got a quarterback of the, well, at least the season. A little recap of Mexico.
Exciting finish.
Did not bode well, hence the shitty shots. And then we'll dive into probably a little NFL news and then end with the Wells.
So should we go recap Mexico, Wells Fargo, and then all NFL to end it?
Now we got to go recap.
Yeah, I think we got to go all recap. And then we'll jump into the Wells.
Correct. Recap, news, Wells.
Perfect.
Right.
Let's do it.
So get to it.
All right, so recap. Let's start out with the Mexico Open here. Cole, what a week.
What a week. About damn time. Also, ahead of both of you now in the standings.
Yeah. You are. Cole. Cole's on fire.
Hey, we'll give it to him.
We're all in the 30s. It's like 31, 34, 35. Not good.
But we're trending. Hey. We're trending in the right direction.
Well, no.
Well,
no. I've been moving down.
There's only one person trending in the right direction. That's me this week.
Yes. So
I stayed the exact same.
We're going to go the other way next week. So
I stayed the exact same this week. So
we're not doing well on the one and done. Okay.
I really hope you followed last week. Wouldn't suggest it this week.
I mean, the only one that you missed on was your Black Stallion for plus 32,000. Like,
missed a cut.
Is
lame.
It okay? Cool. Like
and I went with the darkest of Black Stallions.
Yes. Yeah. You're not wrong.
Of black.
So now that we started talking
basically
about our one and done, so let's start there. So Stoy took Kevin Na, ended up T42 there. Cole took Tony Finau. So T2.
Yeah, we've talked about it. Stoy and I have kind of gone back and forth on where we're at and trying to decide when to pick him. I don't know if you've got him in.
I took him. He got a T29 for me earlier, so not a bad finish by any means.
First T10 for him, which that's what he's been known for the last 2 years.
Yeah,
just a guy that's always in the mix. A couple victories now, but just solid. So hopefully getting back to form with the T2 again this week. I think that he's turning a corner here with getting the ball in play. Irons have always been a strength of his, but he's been a little erratic with putter and driver this year. Starting to get that figured out a little bit. So look for him to be competitive again this week. But I mean, he shot 8 under on Sunday.
Yeah.
Both the guys that finished second shot 8 under on Sunday. So came from a long ways back. They were tied 41st, I believe, going into the round, and both ended up T2 with a very legit chance at a playoff. Had Rahm not got up and down out of a real sketchy lie off of his drive there on 18. So it was a fun ending, but great to see.
I mean, the thing that's with him is, one, it was outside of the U.S. He seems to, whatever reason, he plays great outside of the U.S. And from like 175, right around the average, if he has a shot into the green from 175, dude's lights out.
And a lot of that comes to his swing speed. And, obviously a lot of the guys on tour are swinging 2 less clubs than most of your people. But like 175 for him is a 9-iron. So, just you're controlling that distance, an easy 8-iron, a 9-iron, a pitching wedge. They get to swing those from distances where most people don't. Or if they are, they're trying to go hard after them, and therefore you're going to have a higher miss percentage. So, shots gained from, fairway and hitting greens has been, something he's been very good at. That putter is just kind of what has held him back in his career. So hopefully he can continue to grow on that.
I won't lie. I didn't watch one golf shot this weekend. It's the first one all year. First turn all year. Could be because we were putting in a gravel pad.
Yeah,
and I had to do a lot of work.
You were doing some man work.
I'm a goddamn man. I'm not 40, but hey.
That weather was not helping.
It was awful. It was terrible. Have you ever tried to shovel mud, when it's raining and wet? It cakes to the shovel.
I make my wife do that. Which she
just in time for Mother's Day weekend.
She actually did this.
She did? Wow.
While I was inside watching golf. But her choice.
Her choice.
I didn't
Are you sure?
make her go.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's her thing?
Gardener.
That's fair.
The gardener.
Green thumb, if you will.
She's farm family, farm strong. That's why she can do more push-ups than I can.
Can we get through this so I can do my shitty shots?
I took Aaron Wise. He had a T6. He had a really, really bad second round, but played pretty darn well the rest of the week. Outright winners. Stoy took Sebastian Munoz, T29. I had Gary Woodland, T24. And Cole took John Rahm.
Winner, chicken
Got
dinner.
the victory. He made it so much closer than what it needed to be.
Absolutely.
No, we didn't. He made it just enough.
Just close enough. But I was so torn because I actually, I knew I'd get my bonus points had he won, but I was definitely rooting for Finau. So.
Pineapples.
Okay, number one. Shitty shot.
Warm
pineapple.
pineapples?
Warm. Didn't you guys have a cold last
Pineapples
week?
and bananas.
No.
No, absolutely not.
No. This thing, I don't think this thing's moved for 3 weeks, so of course they weren't cold.
I think this is going to be good, though, because you can have pineapples and then
I think it's aged.
pineapples and bananas. That was a good draw. Of course, this guy would draw the best.
Yeah.
But it still doesn't finish good.
No, and it's not even the immediate finish. It's a 5 to 7 seconds later finish.
It's weird. The flavor of them is actually not bad. The initial flavor is not that bad.
Yeah. I bet they're really good cold. Who
I mean,
knows?
really
Careful,
good,
really
really good. I don't know about that. We'll
right.
beg to differ on that one. Black Stallion picks. Stoy.
Ortiz, baby.
Stoy. Carlos Ortiz.
Go.
T51. Only person to make the cut. We mentioned earlier, Cole took Jason Duffner plus 32,000. Missed the cut. I took Tyler Duncan. He missed the cut plus 8,000. Top 40 picks. Stoy and Cole both made the cut here.
That's because we're kind of good at it.
Stoy edged him out with a 66 from Pat Perez, and Cole had Wyndham Clark, who finished T67. Yep. I missed a cut with Ryan Armour.
You should have a shitty shot. All miscuts.
You would have a ton then.
I don't know how.
Not
because
Black
you missed-
Stallions.
Armor should not have missed the cut.
You
No,
missed.
should not. He really shouldn't.
It's missing in the opportune places.
This course this week.
It's golf.
This week should play to his strengths too. And now, after that, I'm you just missed the cut at that course, and so
Yeah.
Yeah.
either way, I took him off my board this week because of that. So
Yeah. So
screw
player
you, Ryan Armour.
player to fade. Cole and I both took Abe Answer, second highest odds. Finished T42.
Yep.
Stoy took Rahm. And
Wait a
first
second.
and first.
Root beer.
Wait, doesn't he have 2 for that? Because I picked Rahm to win.
Oh.
No, that's the one and done.
Huh?
Don't we only double up on the one and dones?
No, it's on the because the one and dones don't.
You're right. I think you're
I'm
right. You can go
100
back and look
I'm
real
100%.
That's
because the one and done isn't our final pick.
I'm
since
trying to
we're
think
not-
of one
since we're
where
just
we-
choosing our true champions every week.
what did
100% because I've been in this spot before.
yes. I'm trying to think.
I mean,
when did you win?
You hate to do it to a guy.
Is that Whistle Pig?
Hate to see it. Absolutely hate to see it. Gosh, there's nothing better than when
You are making a comeback.
when 2 becomes 3. That's the name of this episode.
This is cute.
2's a party, 3's a crowd.
Ah,
I don't even know which one to start with. Root beer.
I feel like I need to go into the jingle. After these messages, we'll be right back.
Yeah, and it's just like a zoomed in face of me taking shitty shots. Make it happen.
What's going on?
Well, whistling pig. I do like their 15-year. I'm really not fond of the 10-year, actually.
No, the 15 is definitely better.
Yeah,
I completely
absolutely.
agree with that.
So that's
Is that the
disappointment.
10-year?
Yeah, it is. And there's like a dirty ring, so I wonder how old this is. This is in the golf
Just like you
bag.
said, it's
aged.
aged.
Maybe it's a 15-year now.
Yeah, maybe it's
This was in the
it's
golf
at least
bag.
10 and a half.
That was in your golf bag.
At one point last season.
It's definitely
How I never took that is beyond me.
I actually, because when I went to get shitty shots, I was like, ooh, I got to buy some more. I might as well look in my bag because I was looking for a glove, and I reached all the way down under a cranny, under like my tool fixer thing. There was.
Interesting.
Yeah, but here we go.
it's
I am surprised that I've never taken that.
there it is.
That actually was better than the pineapple.
Yeah, you could definitely tell from your reaction.
So overall, though,
that reaction was because I
Cole-
had to do that one.
yeah.
Cole led that week with 16 points. I had 7, and Stoy had 3.
The real bummer there was the ROM, obviously, which got me the second, third.
Third, yeah.
It's the fact that it's minus 5 points, because if I had those back,
Right.
I'm still in the lead.
Yeah.
So those are important.
That was a big lead
Yeah.
change this week.
We still need to go
Really
back and
tough
get our
week for you
Masters, but
overall.
It's not good. Draft though.
Yeah.
Yeah, we still have to do the Masters.
yeah, let's
I really hope I don't have a shitty shot there.
move into that though. I mean, you just mentioned it. Let's move into the draft.
Mm-hmm.
Overall, I'm
I'm
the
warm.
trades, like, it was crazy. We need to actually look back at our draft to see where our shitty shots are from that, because I think we forgot about those.
Sure did. Sure hit.
I mean, I know I at least have one.
I really hope you guys do. I don't want to, like, I had a lead. I don't want to put them all back now. 2 quarterbacks taken. If not, shots for Ryan.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
there's
I
one.
have one there for sure. I knew that.
We all got the running back trades. Oh, God damn it. There was, why did we set it at 2.5?
Why did you take the under?
I don't remember.
You were the one pumping trades on the chat.
Yeah, I know.
Like, oh, no, there's going to be at least one more. And I was like, I think we're good at like 4.
No.
And there were ended up being 6.
6 first round, 21
Yeah.
overall, I think, is
And
what
Stoy
it
was
ended up.
pumping it the whole time. He's like, oh, no, there's definitely
yeah, but did you miss the one where I said, this sucks, shitty shot?
Well,
Then I just kept going with
I
it
didn't
because
know
it was insane.
You know, at that
I knew.
point,
I knew. Oh, I knew. Well,
I mean, 6. I mean, they were all like, I don't know. A couple
good thing
of them
this
I thought
doesn't
were
count
kinda
for our
random.
shitty shots in golf, though. So still got a 2-shot lead.
Ooh.
It's fine. Not tonight.
So, Cole, did you don't have any
No.
from the draft?
What a week. Gosh.
Why did I pour a drink?
Have a freaking
Root
week.
beer.
Not any longer. It's your only week, Cole.
I know.
Root beer.
Talk about
Oh, let's do root beer.
Oh,
Root beer,
that's
pals.
cute.
That's cute.
Come on, guys. You guys.
Why
get a
did I
golf clap?
pour a drink? Like, what was the point?
You shouldn't have.
Like,
Although watching you pour all of those together into one and then taking it would have been pretty awesome.
dude, that would have been sweet. But I didn't know I had all of these, so to be fair. Yeah.
To be fair.
To be fair, in your mind you had 2 and you're going to end up with 5. No, okay. Ryan had 1. You had 1 for draft.
I told you it's not that
Just
bad.
wait for it.
No.
No, you're not getting it.
I
It could be after the third 99 you take.
That was
you,
the second,
You
okay.
just don't even.
there was a whistle.
Maybe,
thing.
maybe here. Hey, maybe you still got a little bit of young in your bones. When
No,
I
I feel
when
like
I took this year, like, oh, he's young. So maybe, you know what?
I feel
That
like
wasn't
you
bad.
still coated it. At
That
this
was
point.
way better than the
It's
pineapples.
coated.
Maybe this is the secret.
Yeah, there you go. You need
Always lead
to
with the
lead with the
whistle.
whistle pig.
A whistle pig sandwich with
It was the only
bananas
one
on
in
the
there.
outside.
It was the only one in there.
This
All
is
right.
so enjoyable.
Is it? That's yeah. See, now you know how I feel.
I know how the
Yeah,
I know
that's
how
great.
the other half lives.
Yeah,
That's what I'm
right.
saying. Sometimes you just got to get on the other side.
So to the NFL draft we go. With
So-
the 8th pick, the first round, the Atlanta Falcons started the receiver run with Drake London. Lincoln was watching.
You mean the
he was,
sprint
I mean, they started it.
that was on the receivers?
It was on my phone. It popped up, and Lincoln was like, "Drake's playing." I didn't know Drake was playing. I'm like,
in London,
"No, bud. Glad you can read."
right?
No, not our team. However, team name on now our football team. So hey, go with it.
Right.
So I don't exactly remember the recap last week, but I said I wasn't surprised. I think I don't know if it was in our chat and I said that if they took a receiver, it would be Drake. at this point, I was thinking we go D end.
Yeah, I think
Jermaine Johnson was there. I mean, there was tackles, but apparently they knew some stuff and some things. And so once you get through the first round, you look at it. I'm very happy with it.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's tall. Like, not super happy, or I'm happy because he is an athlete. He can play the position and all of that. But I'm really happy because of the value we got him at, because the run on receivers afterwards was insane.
Insane.
It was insane. So clearly, they had known some stuff. On the back end, they did try to trade out of 8th. They did. They spoke to a few teams. So they must have gotten some vibes.
They just must have wanted. I mean, but that shows like, hey, we either value this guy a lot, so you have to give us a lot for us to
absolutely
us to leave here. So that just pumps up the value in my eyes for that the Falcons.
So I was I'm good with it, man. I'm really good with it. We got Pitts, who's 6'12". London 6'5". Our third receiver, he's 6'4".
Did they come out with
receiver wise?
Keenan Mcardle? Was that who I saw they were like comparing Drake London?
Gosh, that's a blast from the past.
Yeah, it really was.
I don't think I don't know how many of our listeners are even going to know who that is.
Probably,
I think that's who they were comparing him to, and it was just a guy that
maybe.
I mean, I guess we do.
Over under there? Should he shot there? I'll take I don't know. I'm not taking shit.
Do you remember who Keenan McCardle's receiving mate was, for lack of a better term?
No clue.
Who played the other side?
No clue. I don't even know who he played for.
What?
I have no idea who he is.
He played with Mark Brunell.
Oh,
was it Keyshawn Johnson?
yeah, that's right.
Nope.
I got it now. I remember now.
I don't.
They had some studs. I want to say he played with Fred Taylor as their running back too.
Yeah. Yeah. That was that squad back then.
I believe it was Jimmy Smith. I think it was Jimmy Smith.
Yeah.
That's who I'm thinking of
so.
for the other receiver.
Yeah.
Like, they were loaded. Not like 98.
Yeah. They were
Dare I
solid.
say? Like, I think the only reason I remember that is like playing with them on Madden.
Right.
Like, because they were actually like an amazing offense.
Strawberries.
I mean,
That was
I was
years
4
after
in
their
'98, so it makes
No,
sense
that's
that I
why I
don't
say-
remember.
Like, well, that's why when you pulled the name, I'm like, do you even know who that is?
I do
Okay.
because
Wifey's
it's a guy that
Probably not a good thing.
it's a guy that looking at it.
Go fast.
If Drake London's getting compared to him, that's a guy that produced a lot.
Right. I just didn't know if you
Yes.
if you knew who that was at all.
Yes. I mean, I do.
That was a blast to my past. I was like, when people were in video games, I'm like, oh man, the only reason I
gotta
remember
look
that
this.
guy is because, but I'm pretty sure he played across from Jimmy Smith. Mark Brunell would have been.
Well,
the
and I
quarterback.
mean, it's easy for me to remember who
Baselli would have
Keenan
been the
McCardle
left
is.
tackle.
It's easy for me to remember who he is because he's the Vikings wide receiver coach.
Oh, touche.
So
Very good,
also
very good, very good.
helps.
But yeah, there's
and he's
3 or 4
fantastic
Hall of
as a
Famers on
receiver
that
coach.
team that he played with.
Yeah. So I'm looking back. Jacksonville
Yeah, I mean Jacksonville was his.
hang on. I got to look this up because I might be onto something here.
About
He did, in fact, play with Keyshawn Johnson.
okay with the Jets.
No, he was with the Bucks for 2 years
Bucks,
in
okay.
2002 and 2003.
So it's been about 5 years after his.
It was his
stint.
one of his best years. He was selected to the Pro Bowl when he was with the Bucks in 2003.
Who was their quarterback then? Was it Dilfer? Was that during their Super Bowl run? Or would it have been Brad Johnson?
Who is a mammoth of a man.
Well, both of those guys are not small dudes.
No.
But yeah, Brad Johnson. Well, because Brad.
Also a former Viking.
Isn't it Brad Johnson that does the trick
Shots and stuff
videos
now? It was Brad Johnson.
Okay.
So let's look at this. So Michael Pittman Sr. was their running back. Keyshawn Johnson, Keenan McCardle, Ken Dilger. I mean,
Can you give me the Jaguars? Give me 98, 99 Jaguars offensive skill positions.
okay.
While
Let me
we're
look this up. 1998.
Where we're killing time here first.
I mean, we can keep talking about our teams.
You want to?
Because
I want to check this real quick, and then we'll jump in.
Absolutely. Let's see here. So Mark Brunell, Fred Taylor, Keenan McCardle, Jimmy Smith, Pete Mitchell.
Look at me.
You're
I literally
I mean, Jimmy Smith was 1,100 yard, almost 1,200 yard receiver.
He was actually the better of. For those two, he was the premier, and then McCardle was the Robin to the Batman, if you will.
20.
Was Baselli the tackle on that team?
Tony Baselli was the tackle on that team.
I mean, I'm saying that's just a lot of dudes that, and I don't know.
Hey, what do you know? They're in their left side linebacker, Bryce Pop.
Yep. UNI,
baby.
That's right. Legend.
Yeah.
Who was?
He's got the big Bills picture. That's what he's known for is the Bills. So he's got his big
That's
Bills
the
picture
one
up
that's
in the dome.
Yep, in the dome for sure. Was he drafted by the Bills? Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Trying to think.
They had I lied. He was drafted by Green Bay.
Oh, okay.
He
played for the Bills for a while.
He started 10 games in 92 for Green Bay.
That's crazy.
14 and 93 for Green Bay. So he went 95. So he was actually a Pro Bowler 94, 95, 96, 97. 3 of those years was in Buffalo.
Gotcha.
And then he actually played in Jacksonville in 98, 99.
Mm-hmm.
And what I did not know whatsoever was he was actually a Viking to end his career.
I did not know that either.
I had no idea. But let's jump back into the draft.
Yeah, Stoy got his first round pick. Do you want to go by rounds, or do you want to run down through your team and then
because it's going to be crazy for me to go by round a little bit here with the Vikings. So I guess we can kind of go by.
You just want to do a kind of a team roundup?
Yeah,
you
we
want to
can
go
do
first,
that.
or you want me to?
I feel like you had a better draft overall, so we'll let you finish it off.
Okay.
So looking at this, I thought the weirdest thing about this, and granted, it's Kwesi and Kevin O'Connell, like it's their first draft, right? It's their first draft as leading the team.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it seems like their whole thought process was there is a range from, and I don't know that exact range right now off the top of my head, from 50-ish to 120-ish. That's where they see all the value,
right?
Because I feel like that's where they tried to hoard picks and get as many picks was in there. That's where our value plays are.
Isn't that kind of what the Vikings of the past have done?
Yes, I think so, but I think so. You talked about trends earlier with the Cowboys. A trend for the Vikings this year was they picked fast players.
Mm-hmm.
Every single one. I think they had 10 picks, and I think 8 out of their 10 picks were in the 90-plus percentile of their position or of overall.
Right.
In like the 10-yard dash or 10-yard split. So they just rewarded explosion is what they were doing. I honestly think so. I think my favorite pick of the draft was probably Booth from Clemson for the Vikings.
Best value.
Yeah.
He dropped a decent amount.
And then I 100%, they're taking him at 34, and they traded away. Now they traded to the Packers, who filled a need with Christian Watson, which that's what's weird to me is they traded with the Lions and they got finessed with the Lions though.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
That was bad value that they got out of the 12th pick. You can get a lot more for the 12th pick,
especially
in my eyes,
especially in our division.
Right.
I mean, that's got to be taken into consideration, doesn't it?
It has to be.
And you traded 2 different times. You traded in the draft within your division.
I think their second trade was. I think they did great in that. Now the Packers filled the need. Right. Yes, and got something that they needed, but I think the Vikings got more value from that.
Right. I don't disagree with that.
But in the end, I read something. It was like the Vikings turned the 12th pick into X player. Right. And looking at that from a pure draft standpoint, draft grade, like that was, okay, yeah, solid. They did a pretty freaking good job. One interesting thing about seeing so the safety out of Georgia that they took 32nd,
mm-hmm.
They couldn't have been sold on Hamilton because I thought Hamilton was a lock at 12.
Right.
it was either Hamilton or Linderbaum for
That's
me.
what didn't make any sense to me.
It was Hamilton or Linderbaum, and I was like, those two are a lock at 12
Right.
for the Vikings. And then all of a sudden you see them. I thought if they traded at all, it was going to be with the Steelers, and the Steelers were going to take Pickett or they were going to take Malik Willis.
Right.
Pickett was their guy, Pittsburgh guy. He was their guy.
Right.
I mean, and they ended up getting him anyways, so it doesn't matter. But I thought that they were going to trade down with those guys, and they were going to get, Linderbaum. I think Hamilton was going to go before then regardless, but they were going to get Linderbaum, and then they were going to be fine with it.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing that to point out is Seen was graded as the second best safety in this draft.
Mm-hmm.
Harrison Smith was graded as the second best safety in his draft, and he is panning out pretty well.
Absolutely.
So with that, I like Seen. Booth is my favorite. Ingram is kind of a head scratcher to me. I think they reached a little bit to get Ingram.
Okay.
Bradbury, they didn't pick up his fifth-year option. Like that's been known that they're not picking it up. Mm-hmm. There's been talks about Ingram being able to potentially move over to center, so that could be their play here.
Right.
The big thing that you keep seeing is he's a guy with big, long arms.
Mm-hmm.
Like big guy, moves well, long arms. So, and he's a zone guy. So I think that fits Kevin O'Connell's scheme, being a zone guy. Asamoah, linebacker out of Oklahoma, fast.
Yep.
He plays fast, plays quick. My least favorite pick, I think, of the draft was when they traded up and got that cornerback out of Missouri.
Yeah.
I don't know why they doubled down on that.
Right.
That was confusing to me, but I don't.
If he falls to you, fine, but no reason to.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree with that. That was my big head scratcher, but I do love the fact that their secondary was poor.
Right.
And they are trying to address that, and let's create some battles in there. So I can't say no to that.
Right.
Deanna out of Minnesota, just trying to get another pass rusher to compete in there. That makes sense to me. Sleeper pick. So I thought they were going to take a tight end a lot earlier. Mm-hmm. So Nick Muse out of South Carolina, we'll see.
What round did they get him?
7th.
Okay.
So we'll see. We'll see with him. But I think my favorite pick. So Madison is on his last year. Mm-hmm. He's a free agent after this year.
Right.
Ty Chandler out of North Carolina. He showed that he was a pretty darn good running back in college.
Right.
He was a scoring machine. Mm-hmm. He ran a sub 4.4.
Right.
And he's got more true ball carrier experience than Kenny Wanwu.
Right.
And those kind of guys. So I think adding him to the roster I think that's a big thing. Right. So overall, for me, I'm like sitting at like a B-.
And that's where that's kind of where you fell in most of the stuff that I looked at.
Some people are giving us an F, and I
disagree with that.
That's too far.
You feel too many needs though to get any worse than a C.
I would not give them. I would say if you're grading teams directly, I would probably say they're anywhere from 15 to 20.
Right,
is right where I
would
in the average.
Like definitely not.
That's right
the
where
worst
I would
draft, but
no. And I think does it get better with time if Kwesi and Kevin O'Connell are there? Yeah. Does Ty Chandler look like a better pick if Madison moves on and they get value from him?
Right.
Yes. So there's
those are
plays
the impossible plays at this point.
Exactly. We don't know that. So I think everybody can speak to that.
So here's my question for you, and I want you guys to ask me as well. The passing up of the pick, again, I think like the F grades that you
He's back.
That you may have gotten were simply because you passed on the ability to get
root beer. Way better.
Way better.
Is that the worst one?
Yeah, that one's terrible. That's the one I had last week.
Took my breath. So
yeah,
go to the barber and like they put the alcohol and stuff right here.
Oh
and
yeah,
takes your breath away.
Yeah, that's the one.
That's what just.
But it takes your breath away in a good way.
That one did.
Yeah.
This doesn't.
No.
Barber does.
Like Linderbaum or Hamilton. Do you think that you got adequate value out of not taking one of those two guys? Because in my eyes, both of those guys were home run picks at their position. They are 8 to 10 year plus NFL ready guys.
I'm assuming we're on the Vikings trading back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
he just
completely did a recap of his. So I'm kind of just trying to follow up as far as just trying to get a feel for why they did it.
So So here's my thing, and I kind of mentioned it earlier.
Right.
Kyle Hamilton was the clear number one.
Right.
So was, I can't even remember what his name was when Harrison Smith was drafted.
Right,
so
right.
I think that might be playing into it. I think on their board, clearly seen was a lot closer to Kyle Hamilton than what we're expecting.
So you just think that
but
in that pick,
your question on Linderbaum, I thought I scratched my head a lot on that one because
what did they get for the 12th pick? What did
Not
they
not
do?
it-
32, 34,
And he said that he was
77
super
or something.
disappointed. Okay, so
Or no, 32, 34, and then I think they got like 159 or
Right.
something like that.
a division
So they-
rival. That's not like that
They
value they didn't get for
So
it.
here's what happened. They went down 20 picks
right,
and went up 12. And then they got two other.
you needed at
Picks.
least another mid-round pick or two to
Yep.
make that value.
No,
Okay.
I
or
agree.
next year,
but
one,
I think
something like that. To me, that value was
my
off.
pick right there was and I said it in our chat. I was bummed that Linderbaum went before their 32nd pick and that they didn't take him at 12 because I think that dude is going to have a great NFL career.
right.
If not great, he will be there in the league for 12 years.
He will be a staple center
He
for
might-
years.
He might not even be a staple. I'm just saying he will be playing and starting for 12 years at worst an average center.
So when I'm saying staple, I'm saying he's my staple that I guess I should preface was he's a starter on most any team that he would go to unless they
Most
have a
likely.
Pro Bowl or something like that. Like
Most
he's
likely, absolutely. I agree.
so that's
I
so
love
in
building
that
the
case,
lines too. So
in that case, I think too much value was passed on there, and that's why I don't think Cine is my favorite pick. I think Booth is my favorite pick.
Right, and that makes sense.
I think part of that's the reason you had talked about in earlier was them getting graded F. Now, that's stupid, but that's why they got graded lower is
and
because
that's-
they give up a lot of value.
Right.
That's exactly. But they gained a ton of value from the Packers, but still allowed the Packers to address a need inside
I
their
just
division.
can't believe that. And the division trading was
They
crazy.
did-
That was
they did it
twice.
twice.
That was insane.
There's
to
only
me.
3 other teams in your. There's only 3 teams,
So,
and you traded with 2 of
Yeah,
them.
why don't you do the other one? Might as well go the whole damn
You are
run.
you are 10% of the trades in the more than that, but 10% of the trades in the draft were you and your division rivals.
That was insane too.
Which that drops you half a grade right there, probably regardless of value.
You don't
And,
trade
like,
with your
just
division.
No,
freeze
I
somebody.
agree.
You just don't.
So,
I agree.
Unless you're getting stupid value back.
Right.
Yeah.
all right, Stoy's back from
I'm back.
back from the phone call.
So we've
and
already
back to
clearly
the,
we've already talked about Drake London at this
Yep.
point. And then we went edge from Penn State and linebacker from Montana State, which is kind of cool to see. Again, filling needs. Filling needs. We haven't had an edge rusher in. Yeah, no, long time, probably,
especially
probably
a young
decade.
one.
Especially a young
And
one.
a couple free agents come in over the
Um,
years, but nothing.
Our linebacking core overall, we lost, and names are not going to come to me. I've had 4 shots. Okay, let's help me.
4 shots on the phone call
But
from
we
your
lost,
wife.
right?
Guy's
It's a
having
day.
himself a day.
Have a day today. Last off seasons, we lost a solid linebacking core. One starts for the Packers now and signed a long-term deal there. And then one just went to the Jags, got a big deal.
Right.
And we got the leaser with Debo being the lesser of those 3. So kind of is what it is. We got to fill those spots.
Right.
And this allows us flexibility to trade Debo, cut him, whatever.
Right.
So I thought it was a sweet pick. And then getting Desmond Ridder in the 3rd, by the way, going into this, all quarterbacks should have been 2nd and 3rd, in my opinion. And basically,
That's going to be.
They were.
Once I get through the Cowboys, we're going to talk
Right.
about the quarterbacks.
so they dropped in 2 places I thought they should have been for the first year ever that I can remember that quarterbacks actually got valued reasonably well. So getting Ridder at this point, who is similar to Mariota, who can.
But is that good?
It is in the system.
Okay,
It is in the system.
that's fair.
Now, I think who knows if he's going to be a better passer. I mean, there's so many variables at this
Right.
point. But to pick a quarterback who can learn from Mariota, hopefully for a year, but everyone's going to push him to start right away with some big-ass receivers, I I think it's pretty solid to get a value out of that third round. Now, I think he should play more this season.
Ritter?
Because if he doesn't show his value, we're not winning a lot of games.
Right.
So go get one of the top tier guys.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
It's not that Mariota's a bad quarterback.
No, he's not.
by
He's just
any
been
means.
hurt
Like,
a lot,
exactly.
and he can't throw.
Right, but like, how's the accuracy on those two guys?
Yeah. Well, we know Mariota. He's been in the NFL long enough to know.
Right, but like, I mean,
Ritter
doesn't come in as like a
60, 70
passer at a school that is not known for playing a lot of tough defensive opponents.
That's true.
And some really good athletes.
Yeah. Now, accuracy in our offense isn't top tier because of a lot of boots and a lot of RPOs and all that. So can he improve?
Right, with that receiving talent, though, you need to be getting the ball on more than
just put it on their body somewhere. In this,
we've seen though.
Jameis, just put it on somewhere.
Put it on somewhere.
We've seen though accurate quarterbacks with good receiving cores playing good competitions that had success in college that don't do.
Oh, I don't.
Diddly.
I don't.
So
I was just surprised that like it was almost too similar for me.
Too similar.
It was like we have a guy who really has a lot of tread left. If he, like, in my opinion, in Mariota. So like. What are we doing? Well, like if we're gonna take a quarterback, let's take somebody with like a Howell from North Carolina. Made more sense to me simply because you get the contrast.
In my opinion, it was either Ritter or I don't want on quarterback.
Okay, that's completely.
And I would have been okay with it.
No,
because of Mariota, we still have Josh Rosen in the team, and
I forgot he was still in the league.
Felipe Franks. So like
that's not a quarterback.
That's not a tight end. So. You have the running ability, RPO stuff you want to do. You have Mariota, right? So I'm not mad. But for the value, I think for a quarterback that's a solid value.
Yeah.
Then we backed it up with another edge with D'Angelo Malone from Western Kentucky. Again, thank God we double dipped on the edges.
Western Kentucky was a great team. They surprised a lot. They were good this year,
and I'm really excited to have another edge. I don't even care who it was.
Also, keep in mind that Texas, the University of Texas, the biggest football program budget probably in the country, and we're going to name a lot of little schools, and you're going to hear, and we're not going to spend much time on them. Texas had 0 people drafted.
No. Wasn't it all possible? Texas schools ended up with a 0, except for UTSA? I'm pretty sure I saw that stat, and I was like,
so you're talking, like A&M had people drafted.
Did they?
I'm pretty sure.
I don't know. So I don't know. When I saw that tweet, I didn't know if it was Texas or Texas.
No, it was
big school
definitely
Texas.
UT.
But UT had nobody.
100%.
Embarrassing. Then we went running back with Tyler Aguilar, BYU. I thought that was pretty solid. The one that is interesting, we went Georgia to finish out, and we went
I'm
Schaefer
looking at,
for left guard.
Texas A&M definitely had a guy drafted. He's right here. So.
He's on your team?
No, he just happens to be
Kenyon Green. He was the 15th overall pick.
Interesting pick in our guard choice. We're more of a zone type offense, but we went with a mauler at guard, which I know in my playing career, you usually had a guard that was a mauler, even if you ran a zone. Right. So I kind of get it, but hey.
Late pick, too.
Late pick, and then a blocking tight end, which
developmental.
We clearly need a blocking tight end because we have 2 receiving tight ends. So that's fair. Overall, I give us like a B.
What round did you take your tight end?
6th.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you got one in the 7th, you got one in the 6th.
Yeah, that's why I asked. I wasn't sure
where they should be.
Yeah, and we got one in the 4th.
You said 5th.
To compliment Dallas Schultz.
Dallas Schultz.
But we had, in their defense, we had 4 5th-round picks. And they had 2 go in the 4th before they took a 3rd one. Yeah. So I think it was more it was kind of like the receiver run, like, oh, crap, we better get one before they're gone type of thing.
Sorry,
so
Dalton Schultz. Wow, that was way off.
And Dallas Goedert for the Eagles.
I was
hoping
Cowboys.
he would pick that up.
No, sorry, I was
Dallas Cowboys.
I know
Dallas Schultz.
I was letting go, but I was like,
Schultz.
You combined 2 guys that aren't in the same team.
Well, he plays for Dallas. He could be Dallas Schultz.
Yeah, right.
But
overall, I'm good. I'm
B?
I'll say B.
You feel?
Yeah, B. Solid B.
I mean, the one thing
upper echelon of B.
I will say is that as I look at all 3 teams is that none of our teams, I believe, reached outside of needs. And I think that's when you get your big draft flops is when you start reaching, especially early rounds, for things that are outside of needs just because it's a shiny object type of thing. And I don't feel like any of the three teams did that.
And we even traded away our fourth to move up about, what did we move up? 5 spots in the second round.
Right.
I'm good with that.
Right.
Because we had still
Especially
2
if you have
seconds,
a target,
2/3.
You're hitting a target. So
Yeah, and hitting a target. And then, it was solid. Overall, I'm good. I think it's like I told you guys this, the first draft that I'm like, cool. Like, I'm not mad. Like, we addressed needs and move forward. And then we re-signed, Grady Jarrett, which thank God for that one.
Right.
So far they're crushing it. Now we got about 15 mil to spend.
there you go.
Money's
Money.
probably realistically like 6 after.
Ryan, any questions for Stoy on the Falcons draft? I mean, I think he kind of said it best. There wasn't big moves on either side, kind of like what the Vikings did with their trades. I don't have anything for him.
Who's your favorite draft pick that they got?
I don't think I have one. Realistically, I'm excited about every single one of them at the position where they're supposed to be.
Okay.
Do you see
maybe
an
not the tight
immediate?
end.
Do you see an immediate impact guy?
Well,
Okay.
we don't have a number 1 receiver.
You think London
now
can step in?
have a number
that
one
was going to
receiver.
be my question too.
Yeah.
If
I
he
just
can make
honestly,
He has to.
Okay.
He'll have the most pressure. Question me.
But can Mariota
who's
get him
going
the
to who's going to have the most pressure? It's going to be Drake London.
I think
he has to step up, get pressure off Pitts to free up Cordell. That's the only way this offense is going to work. And yes, hopefully Mariota can get the ball.
I was ready for you to say. I was ready for you to say an edge guy.
I just hope that
I was ready for you to say an edge guy was like your favorite, or like you see one of those guys being like a very, very big impact player right away. You hope. Right?
We haven't had a good defense in like 160
so
years.
hard to say that.
Some await on that one.
All right. No, that's
I don't
fair.
think any of them make a huge impact. London will, just because he's going to be the number 1 guy, and they're going to have to double
There's
Pitts.
a lot of people projecting him to be the offensive rookie of the year.
Well, because you're going to double Pitts. They already doubled Pitts by
just
game
so
4
hard.
of his rookie year.
I completely agree.
So,
I just
someone's
don't
freed
know
up.
that you don't have the quarterback to make the receiver an offensive rookie of the year, in my opinion.
I agree, but he's not quarterback.
No, I think you might have
And
a
then-
system that's
then
successful.
Matt
I just
Ryan-
don't think that your system
Yeah.
plays to
His
your number 1 receiver being offensive rookie of the year,
Yeah, that's fair. That's valid. And then Matt Ryan said today,
even if their system's
by the way,
successful.
Matt Ryan said today in an interview that if the whole Deshaun Watson thing didn't happen, he'd be a Falcon. And I went, kind of broke inside.
Right.
It got hurt.
I mean,
But I
And
but I
then
agree.
London has a quarterback.
Oh, absolutely. But to hear him say it,
And then London has a quarterback
like-
in that
it's
situation.
like you just didn't need to say that.
he didn't need to say it,
It cracked the heart, though.
right? Oh, it hurt.
Completely.
It
Yeah,
hurt.
right.
Yeah, could
But
you
it's
imagine
open
Raiders
goal.
sitting
But
behind
that's-
him
but
with
that's a
London? Come
That's
on.
a stab literally at the organization saying you guys burnt
Yeah,
your
but we
bridges.
knew
with
that
me.
at the time, though.
But-
Like,
Right,
that was
right,
the
right.
whole reason. That, like,
It's just him.
But him as Matt Ryan as a person to come out and say that, like, that's just a
it's just
guy
like,
that stays behind the scene, like just a good dude stays behind the scenes, not out in public, and then for him to say that, it's just like, yeah,
It was time. It was time
Yeah.
though for
No, I
him to
agree.
say it. He didn't do a Freddie Freeman and pout
I
about
think-
it like the day
no,
after.
he didn't. But it's the same idea.
It's the same.
I
It's
think
the
a
obvious.
Ritter-
It's the same ATL slap in the face.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, that's the theme here. All right,
We win championships.
Let's dive into America's team.
Let's
Why
dive
is that
into
coined
Jerry's
that? Why
team.
is that?
I mean, just
Dive into the Jerry
who did that?
Cowboys.
Who started that? Do you
Jerry's
know?
world. I don't know. I mean,
Jerry's
a
Cowboys.
lot of people call it, the Patriots after the Cowboys because they were a dynasty. So
early on,
and so
when they
like
might-
to
yeah,
me,
yeah,
like
yeah.
they're
Well, and I think when
in
the Fox started
popularity-wise.
the game of the week, it was usually always the Cowboys.
and they always
'cause
play
they're
on
the best.
Thanksgiving and like that type of
That's
stuff.
fair.
But I digress. I'm not going to ride that horse. But so Dallas.
Oh, the horse, because you're a cowboy.
Ding, ding, ding. See what I'm doing there? Dallas went into the draft and, like I said earlier, themed. They went aggressive and athletic, and that was pretty much at all positions. Didn't trade up or down, had the 24th pick. I had hoped that Jordan Davis would fall to us at 24.
Oh,
12
wishful
picks.
thinking.
I think he went 12 picks earlier. And he was a lot higher on draft boards than even some of the prediction stuff.
We'll definitely get
There
to
were-
those dropping.
yeah.
It was crazy.
So, first part of the draft was amazing. So, get to Dallas, and receivers are off the board. Defensive linemen are going like crazy. Dallas went with a offensive tackle, Tyler Smith from Tulsa.
Another Ty Smith.
Dude is a mauler. Just an aggressive guy, unfortunately, but in true Cowboys form, known for holding.
What'd you say?
But he is also going to play inside to start, so he will play guard.
That's good.
And
good
I
spot
will. He'll start this year. He'll replace Lyle Collins. And he'll play
absolutely.
next to the other guy that holds a lot,
But he'll have Frederick on the other side.
the other
right?
Smith. So we'll have the Smith duo holding
Is it Tyron Smith?
Tyron Smith. Yes,
Ty Smith.
We'll have this.
Actually,
We'll
two
have,
Ty Smiths.
yes. We'll have two T Smiths holding one side of the line.
They're just
So
holding.
yes,
Offense
Physical.
right
but
side.
we are going to be so physical.
Oh, absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
looking forward to that. I mean, dude's super athletic, super aggressive. Hard to be mad when you're like, I want my offensive lineman
What's
to be
his
mean.
true position? Left tackle?
He's played tackle. The other
or
nice
right?
thing, both. He's played.
Okay.
Yep. So very versatile, which is what I like about the pick, is that they didn't go for a guy that was going to be singled out position-wise, because Tyrod Smith is going to be injured at some point. He is every year it's never bad, but it's always 3 or 4 games.
He's
And
also your left tackle. Like he is your left
He can
tackle.
move out to the left side and
needed.
play it.
That's good.
They can switch. So, like, he can play both guards, both tackles.
Is he your future left tackle then?
Actually, I think that our 5th round pick may be our
wait.
future
I can't
left
wait.
tackle. Round 2, so it's kind of nice for the Cowboys. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then they have 4 5th round picks and a 6th round pick, which I loved because I think they got a lot of value in there, which is actually what made their draft more than anything, because there wasn't any really flashy picks. Sam Williams, edge out of Ole Miss. We need an edge to replace Randy Gregory. Ironically enough, we got a guy with sexual assault
Issues.
drops issues. That's the red flag. The guy's first team All SEC, 32, I think, career sacks, and played in the best league in the country. Like, the only red flag is he had a charge. The charge got dropped. Obviously, his interview went well enough.
Right.
Cowboys are known to take chances on these guys. I mean, on the field, by all intents and purposes, this guy is a stud.
So he replaces Randy Gregory pretty well.
Almost perfect.
Almost perfectly. Okay,
So
that's good.
kind
Hey.
of creepy,
Like it.
but like great value in the
love it.
fact that this guy was 1st round talent, 2nd round character. And there's a lot of that in the draft. So then we got receiver out of South Alabama, Jalen Tolbert.
Small school, USA.
Small school, but he can play all 3 positions. Big enough to go up top, fast enough to go up top, but also Cedric Wilson-esque in being able to play the slot, and he's going to be another Cedric Wilson.
Yeah, that guy.
And that's a plug-and-play guy day one. A little issues with drops in college, but besides that, all upside there and good 3rd-round value. Jake Ferguson, tight end. We got the earliest tight end, ironically enough, of the 3 teams that we've talked about today.
Just when he was talking shit about taking tight ends.
Right.
Yep.
4th round, 24th pick of the 4th round.
Who was it?
Late 4th, Jake Ferguson, Wisconsin.
Wisconsin.
Known for solid guys. Again, another physical guy.
He can block.
Just going to build on, his body type. He's a little bit slender, but the guy played at Wisconsin. He's got to be able to block to play at Wisconsin.
So he's clearly number 2 now?
Yes, behind Schultz.
Who was number 2 that bumped to 3rd? 3. Because Jarwin's gone.
Jarwin.
I thought he's gone.
Well, he is, but Ferguson's also
Replacing.
plug and play.
Got it, yeah.
He just needs to build in the offseason, but the guy can catch the ball, run solid route.
Jeremy Sprinkle.
Yes, exactly.
So Ferguson.
But Ferguson, just like Jason Witten was kind of a comparative guy, runs solid routes, not going to blow anybody away, but they really need somebody to be the blocking so that Schultz can continue to do the pass catching, and that's where
He'll easily
he'll
fill that
plug and
spot.
play,
Absolutely.
and he'll be an impact player this year. The guy that, dare I say, I'm most excited about, but it's just because he's a giant. So Matt Waletzko out of North Dakota State. He's 6'7", 325 pounds. Played tackle at North Dakota State.
North Dakota.
North Dakota. Excuse me. Thank you.
Hey, I just
I appreciate.
I don't
that.
want to.
Good correction.
Hurt his face.
North Dakota. So there is a test of relative athleticism score. So this is a 1 to 10 score. For the last 35 years, over 1,800 tackles have been tested. This guy ranks 6th.
Oh.
That's the top 1% over 35 years. So
Is that a
the
small
dude
school?
can
Huh?
move, and he's a mammoth,
Nice.
mauler, mean streak tackle. So when you asked who's my future left tackle, that's why they got this guy. Now I don't think he may get some time this year if injuries, but I don't know that he's starting this year.
Who's your left guard right now?
It'll be Smith that we drafted in the first round.
Who's your right guard?
Zach Martin,
Oh.
all pro.
So do you think they
It's the one
you
guy
think
we have.
this guy and
I don't think
Tyler
that-
Smith compete?
No.
Do they put them
I
together?
think, let's go, Mike, try to compete for the other tackle, the right tackle position
Oh, got it.
with the guy we drafted last year, and I'm completely drawing a blank on his Steele. I don't remember his first name. But he will compete with him. But that is my
That's
my
where they have
favorite.
him.
To
favorite.
answer
There
as
he
I go
is.
through, that's my favorite pick because I think the dude is a beast.
That's where they have him on their
It
depth
is-
chart right now is second string right tackle.
So he's a guy to watch out for. Took a corner with the second pick in round 5 from Fresno State. Expects to figure in on maybe some nickel and dime and special teams. Nothing flashy there. And then linebacker from LSU. This is a huge risk reward pick. So he had
Spinal fusion
Damon
surgery.
Damon Clark. Not sure how to pronounce his name, but had spinal fusion surgery. He was 2021 first team All SEC. Dude is a freak of nature. However,
He's your starting middle linebacker right now.
well, he's got
Don't worry about
he's
the
got a
depth chart.
6-month recovery time. He won't be there to start the season, but he's got the potential to be all pro.
How big is he?
I
don't
pull it up right. I'll
trying to
pull it
find
up
it.
right now.
So
I mean, I just know your defense very well because Dan
6'3",
Quinn.
245.
Well,
so
he's
we'll
your
see.
middle. If he
Right.
comes out healthy, but in the 5th round, you have 3/5. That's a huge
got
value. You risk reward it.
Right, absolutely. So
And with Dan Quinn's defense, this guy, I mean, first of all, you have the talent on defense right now to put him aside to
Right.
heal, and then filter him in, and he can filter him in across the board if he really wanted to.
right.
That's pretty good, actually.
Yeah, and then last pick of the 5th round, we got John Ridgway, D tackle out of Arkansas, which I love that pick.
Oh, I did too.
Just from a perspective of big boy, clog the middle. He's a wrestling state champion. Another just a mauler.
He's that.
I mean, dude that's not afraid to get in there,
100%
and
nose
mix
guard.
it up. He's got his.
He will not go past 2 tech. He
best-
will not
right.
move past 2. He just won't.
So
That guy's a big.
The greatest wrestling thing that continually pops up is the fact that Tristan Wirfs just gets beat by other Iowa,
Yeah, but did you see
wrestlers
what he
or
tweeted?
right,
Did you see it,
he's
Linderbaum? He
Yeah,
said,
he's
I got some film I'm sending out.
right, because he's
Yeah,
probably
'cause
beat.
he's done
well,
the
he's.
same
I
thing.
think he beat him like
Yeah.
2 or 3 times.
Not
that
when it
year.
mattered.
And then
Right.
and then you
We
got
still beat him.
All right.
and then you got
Hey.
Anthony Cassiope who wrestled heavyweight for Iowa and beat them both. Really, really tough dude, but
Right.
who's like a foot shorter than both of them. Everything like it's just funny to see. This guy was a 4-year starter, 4-year letter winner.
Right.
This guy is soon to be Pro Bowl, Super Bowl champ, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Linderbaum, first round,
Right.
just
I
stacking up.
I mean, you get a wrestler, a dude that's, I mean, if you can wrestle, you can move. If you can wrestle, you're disciplined. So, I just feel like getting that in the 5th round is just another
Solid.
really good value.
Hand
And
fighting in the trenches.
It's another
baby.
SEC guy.
Yeah.
You can argue all you want, but they're facing top end O-line talent. They're facing, and they're competing with guys that are top end defensive talent to be first and second team All SEC.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's big. Last pick they had was in the 6th round. Another
Solid
athletic linebacker. Oklahoma State, this guy ranked in the top 3% of that same relative athletic score for linebackers over the last 35 years.
He's a Jalen Smith more to me.
Yep.
He's a backup to him.
So they really project him to play special teams this year
For
and
2
maybe
years.
in 2-3 years or injuries. I mean, we all know they're prevalent in the NFL. You got to have somebody there to.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
again,
Absolutely.
nothing
Solid, though.
flashy at all. But if I go down the needs, and I see D tackle, edge, linebacker, guard, safety, receiver.
Nailed
It's
them.
like boom, 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 boom,
Nailed
boom. Like they did nothing outside the box, but they didn't reach. They didn't do anything crazy, and they got ton of value in the mid rounds. I personally, from just a grade perspective, it's an A- B+. I would maybe lean towards a B+ just because you didn't get the flash that maybe you could have gotten, but that was just more so dictated by what happened with the run on edge guys and receivers before the pick got to them, that they couldn't.
Right.
So then what's our best value and how do we move through the draft? So very solid for them.
I mean, I would
overall.
agree. Not following your draft like 0%.
Right.
In hearing that and then looking through, luckily I have insider knowledge of Dan Quinn's defense. I would agree with your grade. I really would. And it makes me think about the Falcons grade. I would still leave them at a B for the simple fact of when I grade a draft, I'm not grading like the team specifically on their set, but the entire whole compass of it, right? The value, I believe the Cowboys' value of picks is greater than the Falcons. Vikings are somewhere. Oh, my bad.
Well, no, I
They're down there
said
somewhere,
I said the
right?
same thing before you got in here. I said, I'll go because I think we had the worst draft out of us three. Do I think it was bad? No, it was. And I said it's probably 15 to 20 is where I would rank them. I'd probably give the Falcons,
It's good average. Yeah. Top 15.
10
Top
to
10 probably, actually.
10 to 13. And Cowboys, I'd probably say
Top 10.
3
easily.
to 6, 3 to 7.
I don't think we're that high just
No.
because we didn't get we didn't get enough immediate value to be that high because there was teams that had some
The Jets are the best
Jets.
draft.
The Jets and
the
Ravens
and the Panthers
and the Panthers
and the Eagles
absolutely
with the trades.
Well, if you include the trades,
which you have to.
those
I mean, they
they
dictated.
nailed it.
Right.
They
okay,
could
so
not have drafted. The
5
Jets
to
could not
9.
have.
No, I agree. It's just
The
it's
Jets could
crazy.
not
The
have drafted
bad
better.
teams actually had good drafts, which doesn't
Like
the Jets having
Lions had a
3
decent
first-round
draft.
picks.
Like,
3 first-round picks.
Nailed everyone.
I think they hit home runs on all of them.
they got
Absolutely.
number one
3
guys
guys
at every
in-
position.
On
3
paper,
guys in the
they
top
nailed it all.
10 of everybody's
Now,
board had those 3 guys in
They
the top
still
10.
have quarterback issues. So as a
Right,
team,
but they
they're not,
have serviceable quarterback play.
They've improved. But let's not go saying they're a playoff team yet.
No,
But
no.
They
No, I don't
crushed
think
this-
we are.
They crushed this draft.
Yeah, I don't
they were probably the best to me. And then the Ravens. When you go through the Ravens, oh my! I'm gonna pull it up. The Ravens' value.
Kyle Hamilton
was
and Linderbaum, both guys that I wanted as a Viking.
As first round, as a number 12 pick, you would have been fine to get both of them, and somehow those two ended up on the same team.
So they got Hamilton at 14, which great. Linderbaum at
26?
25.
25.
Ojabo from Michigan
Yep.
at
That's
a good
45.
pick.
Yep.
This one I just don't know. Travis Jones, DT, Connecticut, 76. I don't.
He was the thing with him, and I don't know anything about him.
I have no
is
nothing.
that he was graded low first, high second, and they got him at 60. They got him at third round, first pick of the third round, second pick of the third round.
76. So math, yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
basically.
So I mean that.
Yeah.
I mean that's all you judge
insane.
that by is just the fact that he.
Round 4, they open up with Minnesota's ginormous tackle, 6'8", 384 from Minnesota. And I'm watching him play because clearly
Right.
around the Big Ten, monster.
Yeah.
Then they get one of Alabama's top corners, okay, in the 4th round.
Coached by the best
Then
college.
all of us know
D-backs
who
coach.
Charlie Kohler is because we're in Iowa. So they get him in the 4th as well. They took a punter. Okay, cool.
Was it
Fucking take it.
Ariza or
by far the top.
Matt
punter.
Arias?
And by far the
In the
top.
country.
Was it
Absolutely.
Ariaza? Or, yeah.
Stout. Jordan Stout, Penn State.
Oh no, they didn't take the San Diego State punter.
No, they took Penn State.
Ariaza, I think, went to. Did he go to
Oh.
Buffalo? Yes, Matt Arriaza went to Buffalo because he tweeted out. He quote tweeted
I don't like that punter pick as much, though.
No,
He quote tweeted his pick and goes,
That's my least favorite
he goes,
pick is their punter.
somebody get me a table.
and then they went tight end Coastal Carolina, which that dude was a freak in their run. Then they went
team in that.
cornerback from Houston, and then running back Tyler Batty from Missouri. Like,
Right.
Just
a solid.
all the way up until the basically punter, solid. Coastal Carolina, also tight end, solid.
Right.
That was, I mean, they just went through and just did work. Not to mention the trade.
Yeah.
Like on top of it. So,
Which the reaction
which
from
was above beyond.
Lamar Jackson, though.
Was awesome.
And
Sad, but awesome.
Reactions.
But I think that
Plural reactions.
I don't think his reaction was to Linderbaum at all.
No, he even tweeted and said,
It wasn't.
not about
but
the
like,
center.
You can say that and not. But
It's about
like,
Hollywood.
Yeah.
It's not
Well,
about
and
him,
and Hollywood
it's
had
about
a personal relationship.
super close.
I think he was mad at the Ravens, but I also think he was probably mad at Hollywood
could have been.
because
Absolutely.
obviously Hollywood didn't reach out to him at all.
Yeah.
Well, I think he's probably mad too in that situation. Like, you get rid of that guy, you go get a guy, but they didn't. You got rid of that guy, and then you didn't address it immediately. And I think that maybe lessens the blow.
I just don't think Hollywood's that good, so maybe that's why my reaction to it was
But
like,
we also don't know if Hollywood knew
right.
either. Because he's,
I think
in my opinion, he's not that good enough
So
to be
let
like,
me see. Hang
hey,
on,
we're trading you, bud.
Right.
Like A.J. Brown knew
No.
ahead of time. I don't think Hollywood would have known ahead of time.
I don't know.
Now, we just don't know.
Yeah,
But
I feel like with as much player
it's
control
all-
as there is these days,
Does-
that he knew.
Does he?
But can we talk about the A.J.
Now-
Brown trade?
Can we?
Yeah, we can.
I was.
Did anyone feel like that one came out of left field?
No, I mean, no, I don't. I didn't expect
Yes and no.
that team to be the one,
No, definitely did not expect the
but
Eagles
I
to do that.
expected
Not at all.
him to eventually not be a Titan.
Yes, this
I
year?
didn't expect him
Yeah.
to be that kind of
I thought it would've
trade
been
in this draft.
No,
That's
not
what
at
I'm talking
all.
about, the player control stuff, though. Like, if someone is unhappy now, it's not a wait and see. It's
it's a move.
well
but
because of draft picks, though.
Get rid of-
Because you can get that's
Yeah.
where the value is now. I mean, what was Tyreek Hill? 4-5 draft picks.
Right. Which is
And a lot of people aren't
Guys.
even ranking Tyreek Hill in
guys,
the
we're
top 10 of
we are
receivers.
overvaluing receivers. I'm just gonna put it out there.
Yeah, but are
That's
you
insane.
overvaluing the value you can get out of receivers in their first 3 or 4 years before you don't have to sign them to a huge contract, which is all of those receivers
Undervaluing that or over?
Well, so you're not overvaluing receivers because you're trying to get them before they are overvalued.
I'm talking about the other. I'm talking about like the Dolphins getting Tariq Hill and giving up that many. That's
a
overvaluing.
30-year-old wide
So
receiver.
is
Drake
AJ
London-
AJ Brown overvalue?
Yeah,
Like,
Well-
did the Eagles give up too much?
I
for AJ
believe
Brown?
his was more fair. I
I don't disagree.
I lean towards
I
overvalued.
mean,
but
Tyreek Hill
it
was
okay.
the
Oh my, that was dumb.
Chiefs got
The biggest reason I lean
Chiefs
towards
are like absolutely.
for what they got.
Why wouldn't you?
the reason I lean towards overvalue for AJ Brown is less of his capability and more that of his recent injury.
Yep.
If he wasn't recently injured,
Played like half the season.
if he wasn't so
It's more than
recently
half,
injured, I think I'd be like, if he was healthy his whole career until this point, yeah, that is a steal. It's great, probably very, very fairly valued. But with him recently injured,
To me,
I
though,
don't know.
to me that I'm glad I'm not a Titans fan, but to me that is because you got handcuffed by Tannehill's contract. So you had to get rid of AJ. Like you had almost no choice at some point. Tannehill's contract's dumb, and then Tannehill coming out today and saying, "I'm not mentoring. If he learns from me, cool." Really? Like legitimately, anybody under you, and
douche.
you know this as an athlete, if there's a younger player coming in,
You're not good enough to say
as
that.
a statesman, your job is to mentor them because it helps the team.
And you're not good enough to say that.
And you're clear. Brady mentors quarterbacks. You're not Brady.
Yeah, but I mean, like I said, it's a player-controlled NFL.
It's
It's a
true.
player-controlled society in all
that's
sports
fair.
now, more and more, and like so you're going to
College
see that
and
more and
everything.
more.
I
It's like,
agree.
I mean, yeah,
agree,
look
but
at
it's
nil in college now. Like players are like, well, Joe Schmo's getting 400,000. I'm out of here. I'm only getting 250,000. It's like as a junior in college, like, wait, or the quarterback that comes in and says, well, unless it's 10,000 a month, don't even talk to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
There was
then Dion. Did you see Dion?
I meant to tweet this to you guys. Go ahead.
Dion basically just said, hey, like, yeah, I get the whole nil thing, but like we want you hungry in college so that you can get your real money in the pros. And it's like, I mean, that's kind of funny coming from Dion, who was a very glam and glitz, guaranteed being paid when he was at Miami, along with the rest of those dudes that were there.
Florida State.
Or excuse
You
me,
never
Florida.
disrespect Deion Sanders like that again. Ever.
Well, the whole state of Florida being paid in that.
I mean, fair. That's valid. But do not disrespect Deion Sanders.
That's almost worth a shitty shot. Almost.
It almost I should give you. Deion would say so.
Deion would
with
agree,
his half
but
foot.
he's at Jackson State now.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
But just
for
like
now.
the fact that he would come out and say that, I'm just like, really? Like,
With his half foot, or his son being like, "Hey, Dad, you 10 toes down for me." He's like,
His
"No,
son
I'm
played
not."
terrible in the bowl game, so he can't talk right now.
That's true.
So there was a tweet I forgot I meant to send to you guys and actually have it for everyone out here. So on me, shout out Josh Claver on me.
On me.
A little bit there. There was a stat that came up from coaches. So they polled coaches and asked them about NILs and the transfer portal. And then they did the stats on the amount of players entering the portal and the amount of ones getting signed. There's 1,800 in the portal, and it was like 23% actually get scholarships.
Sounds like
The coaches came out and said it actually helps us because as soon as you enter the portal, we can get rid of your scholarship. Regardless if you get signed somewhere or not, your scholarship, we can take it away.
so.
They can now condense and make their teams better. It's actually flipping on the kids. We're not hearing that in the media because we're hearing giant NIL deals.
Yeah.
We're hearing the best players signing somewhere because they would anyway. But the amount of players saying, like, for example, you got hurt, but the doctor says you can play. You and I's like, and you're like, I'm out. They'd say, okay, cool. Scholarship's gone. You don't sign anywhere. You're off the team.
So be it. Yeah.
And now they just lost that.
Right.
They picked up a scholarship and now not an injured player or tainted player.
Mm-hmm.
I think what I read there and did some more research, we're going to start seeing that come out and realize that these overall teams are getting better because they get to cut and shave fat because these athletes think they're better than they are.
Well, I mean,
In college. Now,
Right.
NFL is a different
Right.
topic, but
So
no,
I think
I
I think you saying that, being able to move on from them, different stuff, and being able to kick them off the team, that brings up a point that I saw on Twitter, and I actually believe this, and it's a little bit of a one-off of that, I guess. I don't get drafted. I left early. Should I be able to go back instead of jump into an undrafted free agent status? Should I be able to go back and play and continue my eligibility?
I think
I'm
no.
asking from a
You're declaring
pure
yourself as a
player
professional. Go be a professional.
No, I mean, I think the answer is yes, but I think it's
But
more to
Now,
do
as a player, absolutely.
Right,
But it's
I
with
think
the
it's
NIL,
what the NBA does, because the NBA allows you to declare
Figure out what your draft stats
without
would
an
be
agent
and then come back.
find out. And basically, what they're doing
Okay.
is a pre-combine combine.
Yeah,
Whereas the NFL doesn't really do that, and I think they could.
Yes.
So, like, to me, that's the answer.
Right.
And I think the NBA is way ahead of all of other
I-
sports.
I agree. If you don't sign
and
an
all of that
agent
stuff.
and you're just out there to figure out what your draft status would be,
right.
at 100%.
Right. So, and
If you have an agent and you go forward with all of that,
Right.
you've dedicated yourself.
the
Now,
reason I asked,
minor league football will get in.
you're both
Right.
players. You're both players. Obviously, are in the, former
It's not
players.
current.
Former players. And the reason I asked is there's so many
players.
there's so many guys that we see slip to that.
Ooh, you're going to get into that route now.
I'm
like
prefacing
it.
that,
I
but
like that.
there's so many guys that seem to slip that are draftable talent that maybe it's like, oh, you're not a need that we need right now, so I'm not going to draft you. You're a draftable guy.
Right.
You're a good guy, but we can't draft you because we don't need you right now.
Right.
Maybe next year we'll need you. Maybe next year we'll need you. And then those guys are now on the wayside, and maybe they go UDFA. But if they can go back to college and say, hey, I was just testing the waters a little bit. If I got drafted, so be it. That's where it's, again, like you said, it kind of muddies it.
Mm-hmm.
If you declare.
Baseball is that way.
But NIL.
Kind of.
But NIL.
You get drafted regardless.
Right.
Are you truly an amateur anymore with NIL?
No.
Whoa. I'm not saying the whole amateur professional argument.
Right.
We're all professionals because we have a brand.
Right. If you
Yeah,
choose to go
But
professional.
if you chose to hire an agent and you were going that route, you're in.
Right.
If you didn't and you were testing the waters, different story.
Right.
Yeah.
I love the way NBA and MLB is a different story because of
MLB is
Yeah,
I don't.
that's-
MLB is terrible.
they're like European
They're
soccer.
terrible.
Like,
There's a reason we
there's
don't-
so many levels you
Yeah.
never know where you're at.
Right.
MLB is terrible.
However, from an NBA standpoint of like, you can go out, figure out where you're going to be. Okay, cool. I'll go back.
NBA is great. MLB is terrible. That's why guys are going to play in China for more money and becoming a free agent sooner.
I think the MLB's in regards to drafting, because people get drafted in high school. You know where you're drafted.
Right.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
The minor league system is it's whack. They don't. I mean, if you're not in AAA, you don't get paid.
Even if you're in AAA, you don't.
Even
But
some of
a lot
the
of
lower
those guys-
tier AAA's get.
What's insane is some of the
That's-
probably a lot of the
sense.
higher top tier talent is in AA and they skip AAA and go straight to the majors.
Single A or double A, just depending on if you're a pitcher or a hitter.
Well, and like,
It's crazy how they do that. But
AAA
that's
is like a
whole-
designation
and half
designation
of
assignment guy.
and half of
Lifetime.
half of
AAA is,
AAA
I'm
is like
playing.
half AAA is rehab anyway. Robinson Cano just got demoted from the Mets this series.
I have a good buddy that
Right.
like
plays softball with me. That
Who?
was in the Cubs organization.
Yeah.
Freak athlete. COVID kind of threw stuff. But
baseball.
yeah.
Do we throw baseball a little bit in
He
summer?
was talking
We have to
about
at least add a game or two because like
he was talking
there's
though,
a lull.
I would really.
some of the guys
I
that he played with.
I would care zero if we ever talked about baseball.
You-
Sorry.
you would just pull
Okay.
pull a James and just
You're T-ball.
That's fine.
T-ball
I coach-
esque.
that's
Softball?
Right. I coach T-ball.
Softball?
No, I don't need to talk. I mean, I can talk it.
Jenny
I
Finch?
Just, I just it
Cap.
doesn't move the needle for me,
that's fair.
figuratively or literally. Shots fired at myself.
I'm glad I don't need to do that. Like
Nothing.
all right,
All right, moving on.
It's time